Alright, today we're going to learn about factoring by reverse FOIL. Anybody that learned this in high school probably remember this being a pain in the butt. Basically what they want you to do is they have you kind of plug in some random numbers and variables and then use what they call the FOIL approach. And then you do trial and error basically until you get to this. And it takes quite a while if you're not experienced at this. And even if you are, it can still take a little while. So we've got a little hack to this that we do instead. Actually, I learned this in Khan Academy. So we take 2, we multiply it by positive 12. Okay, so 2 times 12 will give us 24. Then we're going to look at all the factors of 24. So obviously 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 4 times 6. Alright, any questions up to this point? Questions up to this point? Okay, the next thing you're going to do, so all these multiply to 24. We're going to look at this number right here. So positive 11. And what you want to do is you want to find the pair that when you combine them together, T-chart them, gives you a positive 11. So in this example, what do you guys think that's going to be? Which pair do you think I'm going to use?
The 3, 8?
Yes, the 3 and the 8. So you're going to take the 3 and the 8 right here. And again, 3 plus 8 gives you 11. That's how we knew that. So if this would have been a 10, I would have used 4 and 6. If this would have been a 14, I would have used a 2 and a 12. If it would have been a 25, I'd have used a 1 and a 24. If it would have been any other number besides the ones I just mentioned, we get into a little bit of a situation where this may not be factorable. But in this example, this one could be factorable. So what we're going to do now with these two numbers here, so I'm just going to go ahead and ignore that one, and that one. And it doesn't really matter at this point, but I like to put my X's in right here. So I'm going to go ahead and just throw some X's after that. I knew to use the letter X just by looking at the problem. Obviously, if these would have been W's, I would have put W's there instead. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this positive 11x and I'm going to split it apart into my 8x and my 3x. So positive 8x, positive 3x. Order does not matter. I did this way so that when I drop this down, I figured a 2 and an 8 go nice together. A 2 and a 3 not so much, so that's why I put this one with this one. Plus the 3 goes nicely with this 12 when I drop that down. You'll see what I mean here in a second. So again, I'm going to recap here. So 2 times 12 gives you 24. These are all the factors of 24. We chose 3 and 8 because 3 times 8 not only multiply to 24 but add to positive 11. At that point, I'm going to throw x's behind those and split apart my 11x into 8x and 3x. You guys already know how to do the rest of this. So you don't realize it just yet, but you do. So what you're going to do is you go back to what we were talking about as far as the factor by GCF approach goes. So if you need a refresher on that, go back to my factor by GCF video. So when we factor this by GCF, we said that's doing the distributive property backwards. So we know distributive property is parentheses. We figure out what these two have in common. So what do these two have in common? Anybody?
2x.
2x. Raise your hand next time, please. Alright, so then if we do the distributive property, 2x times what is going to equal 2x to the second, Carter? This times what's going to be that, do you think?
2.
Nope.
Oh, x.
I heard you whisper that to him. So 2x times x is going to be 2x to the second. And then, Carter, I'll give you a chance to redeem yourself. What do you think you could multiply by 2x that would get you 8x? Educated guess.
A 4.
Yes, 4. Okay, so now we could just take this, slide it over here. And we're going to figure out what times this gives us this. Anybody want to guess on that one? Or give me an educated answer.
3.
3. And I would encourage you to keep your signs with those. So positive 3 times x, positive 3x, positive 3 times 4, positive 12. Now, last step. Okay, so I want you to think about it like this. Pretend this x wasn't here. And pretend this was, I don't know, a w. So 2w plus 3w would equal 5w. So if this x was missing, you would be allowed to do that. You could say 2w plus 3w equals 5w. I'm saying w, but I really mean the parentheses with the x plus 4 in it. And then you could even go a step further and distribute it if you want. Depending on what the instructions say. If they say leave it in factored form, that would be factored form. If they say simplify, then they're going to want you to distribute. However, on this one has an x, and we know that 2x plus 3 does not equal 5. If we go back to our t-chart rules, we know that 2x plus 3 means to do this. And if you remember, you cannot combine things from different t-charts. So 2x plus 3 is just 2x plus 3, right? So what that means is when you put this into your final answer, again, the x plus 4 will still be at the end. But because you can't add the 2x plus the 3, you're not going to say 5x. You just can't combine those together, so you just leave it as 2x plus 3. Okay, and I'm going to show you a way to check your work here in a second. I'm going to give you a little bit of time here to write this down. Okay, so here's how you can check your work. So, grown-ups that are watching this, you probably learned this as the FOIL approach, where you do first, outside, inside, last. You're accomplishing the same thing, really. It's just a preference. But I tell everybody to just double distribute on these. In other words, you're going to take that positive 3, you're going to multiply it by the x, you get 3x. Take your positive 3, multiply it by the positive 4. That's going to give you a positive 12. So this times this gives us that. This times this gives us that. So I'm done with this one now, so I just don't want to use it again, so I'm just going to do that. And now I'm going to distribute with this. So 2x times x is going to be 2x to the second. A lot of times people want to put 2x there. That's why they miss this problem when they're checking it anyways. And then 2x times 4. Educated guess what 4 times 2x is going to be?
4x2. 4x.
Nope.
8x.
8x. So 4 times 2x would be 8x. Picking at a 6th grader over here. Okay, so then at this point in time, we could T-chart just these two, right? We could throw these two into our T-chart. So this is a little bit of a review of everything that came before this here. And remember, together means add. We're going to look straight up. Positive 11x is what those two are going to turn into. And if you remember, that was the problem that we started with. And that's how you factor, and that's how you FOIL or double distribute to check your work. That's it.